Well, hello everyone from Oxley College, years 5 and 6. I hope you're going okay. Where I am at the moment, it is cold and wet, so forgive me if I look a bit rugged up. It's very chilly where we are. Happy Book Week. Obviously, you know how important books are. They are the ultimate time machine because nothing is impossible when you go inside the pages of a book. I'm going to tell you a little story, not a whole story, just a bit of a story, because I want you to use your imagination to fill in some of the missing bits. You know, that bit, that the imagination that stretches from here to here, only a couple of centimetres, but wow, isn't it powerful? Okay, let's get going. Actually, before we do, I better put on this, because that's most important. And just because I've got old man's eyes, I might have to put on these as well. All right, let's get going. My name is Sizzly Bumpy. Actually, that's not my real name. I only started calling myself Sizzly Bumpy after I stuck my head into a hedge outside the Dewdrop Inn on Christmas Eve. I was playing with my cousin X. That's not her real name. Her real name is Xanthe. But I call her X because, one, it's easier to say, and two, well, it sounds like I'm actually with a mysterious secret agent, X. I don't know why I stuck my head into the hedge, and I don't really know where the name Sizzly Bumpy came from. It just happened. Sometimes things just do. Like last month when I was lying on my beanbag in the living room at home, I was watching a YouTube clip of Messi's greatest goals when suddenly there was a massive whack on the window. I looked through the glass and I saw a pigeon lying in a pot plant of Mum's parsley. The poor bird had flown into the glass. I went outside and picked it up. I thought it was dead, but suddenly it shook its head and waved its wings and flew off. I hope it's feeling better now. Mum and Dad said it would be all right, but Grandad said he saw it going to the chemist's. It was buying headache tablets, said Grandad, and it couldn't walk in a straight line. My Grandad is a little bit crazy. He likes eating cold Brussels sprouts mixed with yogurt for breakfast, and he can recite Elvis Presley songs backwards. Now, if you don't know who Elvis Presley is, go and ask someone really old. I don't know, someone like Mr. Ailing, perhaps. Grandad says singing backwards helps keep his mind active. He is very smart. In fact, he's got an encyclopedic brain. He tells me and X facts all the time, like, did you know that a human adult has 32 teeth? Did you know that the Ferris wheel was first used in 1893 in Chicago? Did you know that hydrogen is the lightest gas? Grandad lives in a house on the edge of our village. It's not a very big house, and I used to think it wasn't very good for hide and seek. There aren't many rooms, and there are too many cupboards that are full of paper and pens and shopping lists and string and fishing line and buttons and screwdrivers and photos and jumpers and hats and jigsaw puzzles and cups and plates and gumboots and jam jars and biscuit crumbs and mousetraps. Mum said if Grandad ever had to move out of the house, he would need a whole army to come and help him. That's quite a few people. I have three favourite places at Grandad's. My third favourite place is the living room. There is a huge grey couch that X and I can lie on side by side without touching the ends. One day when we were watching Toy Story, we found a $2 coin in a crack between the cushions. We told Grandad and he said we could keep the money. We went and bought ice creams. Now nearly every time we go to Grandad's, we find a $2 coin in the crack in the couch. We don't tell Grandad anymore. We just say to him that he has a hole in his trouser pockets. Then he always grins at us. My second favourite place is in the backyard. It's where X and I play tag, and we throw and kick balls. Sometimes Grandad plays with us too, but he can't move very fast. He says he has arthritis in his knees. That's why he has a walking stick. He also says he has the walking stick just in case a hippopotamus escapes from the city zoo and tries to hide in his bathtub. Yeah, Granddad's a little bit crazy. My first favourite place, and it's my favourite place by a long way, is back inside Granddad's house. It's the hallway. It goes from the front door, past the living room and the bathroom, and past the snore cave, that's what Granddad calls his bedroom, and finishes at the kitchen. The hallway has blue carpet, and it is so old you can see some of the floorboards through it. Granddad says the floorboards have arthritis too. Listen to them creak, he sometimes says. The hallway is my first favourite place because we play putt-putt golf there. We start by placing one of Granddad's empty clean jam jars near the kitchen door, and then we putt all the way back from the welcome mat that's just inside the front door near the hat stand. That's probably where Granddad used to put this. The course is about 20 steps long. It's not easy because we use Granddad's walking stick. It's made of wood. We turn it upside down and hit the ball with the curved handle. Sometimes we get a hole in one, but other times the balls end up in the bathroom or the snore cave, and we've got to play shots from the top of Granddad's slippers or from under his bed. But no matter how many shots it takes, we never give up because Granddad says we should always finish what we started. And start is what I actually want to do right now. I know we don't have much time, but I want to tell you a bit of a story. Not a whole story, just a bit of a story. I think it's a pretty interesting one. It all began about a week ago on a Sunday morning. It was a work day for Mum and Dad. They own a hardware store opposite the clock tower in the park. It's a beautiful clock tower. It's made of neat red bricks and has a copper spire that reaches for the skies. That's where the pigeons sit, and Grandad says they drop too many messages. The clock face has Roman numerals, and every hour on the hour, the bell chimes inside the tower. 1 chime for 1 o'clock, 2 chime for 2 o'clock, 3 chimes for 3 o'clock. I think you get the idea. Grandad says the clock tower contradicts itself because time can never stand still. Contradicts is a very big word, isn't it? I think I'll leave that for older people to say. Anyway, where were we? X and I were at Grandad's and we were playing putt-putt golf. I looked pretty cool because Grandad said I should wear his lucky hat. He said it'll bring you lots of luck. So I started wearing this. X played her shot first, and it was near the front door, and the ball bounced off a wall and finished just inside the snore cave. Bad luck, I said. To be honest, I didn't mean that at all because I'm very competitive and X is as well, and we always like to beat each other. Well, smarty dude, X said, see if you can do better. I was a little nervous when I lined up for my putt. I looked down at my ball, took a deep breath, drew the walking stick back, and then just as I was about to swing the stick through, the front door blew open and a cold gust of wind knocked my hat over my eyes. I lost complete control of what I was doing. I swung madly at my ball even though I couldn't see it. And that was that. Well, not quite. By the time I'd readjusted the hat, X had shut the door and Grandad was apologising from the living room. Oh dear, I must not have closed it properly. Sorry about that. I'm not as strong as I used to be. I hope no one's been blown away. No, Grandad, we're okay. But where was my ball? X and I looked up and down the hallway and in the snore cave, the bathroom and the kitchen. We looked for ages, but we couldn't find it anywhere. Where's it gone? I asked. X shook her head. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. Finally, we saw the ball and it was in a little crack behind Grandad's set of 1962 Encyclopedias Britannica, right up against a wall. When I went to pick it up, suddenly something very unexpected happened, and the whole world started to spin, or at least the room or the corridor we're in. It started to spin, and everything went back. It was spinning out of control. X! I shouted. There was no answer. All I heard was suddenly the bell chiming at the clock tower. One chime, two chimes, three, four. Spinning, spinning, spinning we were. In darkness, spinning. 3, 5, 6, 7 chimes and more. X, where are you? 8 chimes, 9 chimes. X! Then nothing. Nothing at all. Except darkness. X, I whispered. Are you there, X? Yes. Where are we? She said. I don't know, I said. There was nothing else. Nothing. Grandad? Grandad? Are you there? I wanted to shout, but some strange feeling inside me said I shouldn't. What had happened to me? What had happened to X? And where was Grandad? My heart started pumping quicker. I ran my hands across the ground and I felt cobblestones, worn and slippery. But there was no carpet. There was no bookcase. And no corridor made of old floorboards with arthritis. Grandad! This time I shouted, and the words echoed again and again and again. Grandad, 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 Grandad. X and I huddled together, holding, gripping, squeezing each other's hands. Then a gentle, warm breeze blew across our faces, and it wrapped itself around us as though it was a blanket, a nice, soft blanket. It had a sweet smell like chocolate or the fresh fudge Grandad used to make in his kitchen. It made us feel safe and secure, which was strange because we didn't know where we were or what was happening. The breeze continued to wrap itself tighter around us. The sweet smell grew even sweeter. What's happening? Whispered X. But before I could reply, we heard the sound of horses' hooves thundering over the cobblestones. A whip cracked, and there was a light swinging in the middle of the air, coming towards us, growing larger and larger. And there, suddenly, it was. Woo up, said a voice through the darkness. There we go, there we go. And sitting on a carriage, holding the reins of 2 horses that were heaving and sweating right in front of us. He was there. There you are, he said. Grandad? He smiled. I think you should climb aboard. We really don't have much time. What do you mean? You will find out, but come on up. We must get going. Hurry up. But where are we? Grandad looked at us in a way that it's really hard to explain how he looked at us, but if you have a pet dog, you know when your pet dog looks at you and they look up at you with those eyes and they look at you in a way as though they're saying, you are the most special person in the world to me. That's the way Grandad looked at us. Then he said, this will be hard for you to believe, but you have entered my very heart. You have entered my soul. And I want to take you on a journey so you know exactly what that means. Of course, we didn't believe him. But now, looking back, I do. Now, as I said, we don't have all day, and I'm not going to keep this a long story. It's only a little bit of a story. But I will tell you that Grandad took us on a journey that we will never forget. He said it was a journey of snippets, the little things, the tiny things that we often take for granted or forget. Snippets, like finding a $2 coin in the crack in the couch, or imagining a pigeon with a headache walking into a chemist, or a hippopotamus wallowing in your bathtub. It's the snippets, the little things. Maybe I'll finish telling you this story later. Then again, I don't know. I'm really still trying to work out what it means too. But one thing is for certain. Thank goodness for Grandad.